thinking when 5 Freo blokes were streaming into your forward line and Goose was your only defender?
Yeah, there's a few highlights today. I wouldn't say that's one of them, but look, they're a very good. I would thought they're a very good defensive team first and foremost, and in fact, mid-turnover we matched them, but it was their ability in the forward 50 turnover stuff, whether it be us kicking the ball back to them, but I think they apply enough psychological pressure also to make that happen. So I thought we were poor in our defence in our forward half, and they were extremely good. So they transitioned from their back half, and we didn't turn the ball over, but they applied enough pressure too. So when you look at it like that, when you combine sort of forward 50 and defensive 50, they kick 8 goals through. So that's pretty much the gap in the game, isn't it? When you look at that.
Was that disappointing today, especially in light of how well you played last week?
Yeah, it is, but I thought the game stepped up another notch in that area. They're very alert defensively, and they make you be clean with the ball. And if you're not, they'll get you. And we're just that bit off at that level, I think. We're not bad defensively. We've been pretty good, but it stepped it up to the sort of the top 4 pace today, and we couldn't quite handle it.
Psychological pressure that you referred to is interesting. Leppa, do you reckon that they literally worry you guys out of it, the way they go, the way they play?
Yeah, they do. It's because they're in your face. When they man the mark, they man it with intensity. They treat manning the mark like their life depends on it. And that's what I want our boys to get to. And when at practice day, we want to get to that level. When we get fatigued, they're the little things that drop away. I don't think the gap's that big. I think in the second half, they only outscored us by a goal or so. It wasn't a big gap in the second half. But early doors, we really panicked. And yeah, it's easy to talk about. It's easy to watch on the vision. We watched examples of Sam Mitchell panicking last week with the ball, so and he's one of the best players in the competition, so they can do it to anybody. So they got that part of their game up and running, so they're going to be hard to beat in the finals.
Sort of overuse of handball, is that when you panic? That's what happened? Yeah,
they force you into overuse. And look, we obviously we can handball the overuse when we go poorly as well, the ball, but yeah, we just that last possession needed to sometimes just be a kick, and it took us a while to sort of adapt to that part of the game. But it was pleasing that the scoreboard didn't blow out like the Adelaide game. We sort of kept that in check, so that was pleasing.
Pearce got blanketed by Crowley, not the first obviously. The rest of your really good players, your ball winners, all got a stack of the footy. I think the top ball getters for Freo got 26, and you're beaten by 58 points, I think. What does that say about the difference between the sides? Is it just the turnovers that you referred to earlier, especially in that forward 50?
I think it just showed our midfield wasn't our worst part of their game. To be honest, I was probably worried a bit about that coming into the game, but they did lose a couple of obviously really important players for them through the midfield. That wasn't, but yeah. Whilst we went down in contested possessions, slightly went down in clearances, I still think that midfield component wasn't the worst part. Even the inside 50s only blew out late in the game, but we had them in check for most of the game. So our opportunities were there. Efficiency in there wasn't great. They were very efficient. I think it was 90% in the first quarter they scored at. So that just shows how your defensive stuff isn't quite on.
There's only a game left, obviously. Is that something you'll show your blokes? Like this is, do you show them any edits of that Freo match to?
Look, yeah, we'll review the same way as we always do, but we played 2 top 4 teams the last 2 weeks. One, Freo, which is probably the best defensive team in that mix, and Geelong is probably one of the best offensive team in that mix. So we'll go from one extreme to the other. So our defensive stuff needs to be good next week to curtail Geelong as well. So, but they're great tests for us leading into the end of the year. There's no better challenge leading the last 2 weeks than playing 2 of the best.
Leppa, sorry, what's the answer? Because they rebounded too easily out of your defence, or out of their defence, but it's because you're going backwards for so long, they get numbers back, or else you panic and kick it long to an outnumbered situation. So how do you solve that? Do you move the ball quicker, or shorter, or...?
A little bit of that was the drive the leg stuff you talk about, but a lot of it had to do with just some of our defensive concentration, I feel. I mean, 2 of those goals I talk about were kick-ins. Yeah. When you score from kick-ins, it's normally a lack of concentration as much as anything, and they scored twice. And credit to them, they scored 3 goals last week as well against Hawthorn, so they're on in that part of the game. So we just needed to be better in that area. One of them was from stoppage, once again concentration stuff, and one was genuine turnover. So there's a blend in there. There's always a blend with every loss. There's never normally just one particular thing.
Obviously, the injuries have sort of hurt you all over the field, but you must be craving getting guys back so you get that better ball use from the back half, I suppose. I know you sort of wanted to use Richie and Pearce at different stages early in the season, but is that like an element that you really miss, like the quality ball use from them coming out of the back?
Yeah, we do. But I mean, I think we've got some players that can play those roles and did it well last week. So I think there's an element of inconsistency in our game, maybe. And then when you face the best teams, those inconsistencies can bubble as well. So we're under no illusions where we're at though with our group. So as far as that goes, and I said part of it's how we prepare, and part of it's what the pressure the opposition apply to us as well. So we just have to get our bit right. So when we come to these games, we're ready to go. But at the start they jump us because we're just not quite alert and ready to go. But I thought we built into the game better. But at the start we really just they shocked us and we fell into the trap, I think.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.